get the notification, team meeting, video on, and something shifts. Not full panic, but something close. A quiet dread that settles in your chest. Maybe you suddenly find something urgent to do. Maybe you join late, camera off, mic muted. Maybe you genuinely feel sick, right on schedule, right before the call starts. If that's you, you're not lazy, you're not difficult, and you are absolutely not alone. Millions of people avoid video calls, not just dislike them, actively avoid them, feel real anxiety before, during, and after them. And most of those people have no idea why it hits so hard. That's what this video is about. The real psychological reasons why video calls feel so much heavier than they should. Like this, share it, subscribe, and don't skip any part. Own this in the comments. I show up. It's not about being shy. Let's clear something up first. A lot of people who avoid video calls are completely fine in person. They handle real conversations without issue. They can walk into a room full of strangers and manage, but put them on a video call, and something changes entirely. That matters, because it tells us this isn't just introversion or general social anxiety. It's something specific to this format. And the biggest thing, you can see yourself. In every conversation you've ever had in your entire life, every single one, you could not see your own face. You just existed in the moment. Video calls break that. Suddenly there's a small box in the corner with your face in it, moving, reacting, looking slightly wrong somehow, and your brain, which should be focused on the actual conversation, keeps getting pulled towards that image, monitoring it, judging it, trying to manage it. That split attention is exhausting, and it happens automatically without you choosing it. The screen creates pressure, a room never does. In a physical room, eye contact is natural and brief. You look, you glance away, you shift towards someone else. The attention moves around. Nobody stares at your face continuously. On a video call, every person's face sits in a rectangle directly in front of you. At eye level, unavoidable, and everyone appears to be looking straight at you, all the time, even when they aren't. That's not how human beings are built to communicate. That level of sustained direct eye contact in the natural world signals confrontation or intensity. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a tense standoff and a Wednesday morning check-in. It just registers the input and quietly runs a stress response in the background. Then add the half-second audio delay, the reactions that arrive slightly out of sync, that awkward pause after you finish speaking where nobody's sure if you're done. The whole format is just slightly off in ways the brain has to constantly compensate for. No wonder it's tiring. You're working harder than the situation appears to demand. The camera feels like a judgment device. Here's something that rarely gets said out loud. For a lot of people, the camera doesn't feel like a communication tool. It feels like an evaluation. Every time you're on video, some part of your mind knows you're being seen, not just heard. Seen. Your face, your background, your expression, whether you looked engaged or distracted or tired. That awareness runs quietly the entire time. There's something called the spotlight effect, the very human tendency to overestimate how closely others are watching and evaluating us. In normal life, this fades fairly quickly because you realize people are mostly focused on themselves. But on a video call, the spotlight is literal. There is an actual camera pointed at your face. So, the fear doesn't feel irrational anymore because it isn't entirely. The format itself confirms it. That's a genuinely uncomfortable place to spend an hour. Avoidance makes it worse, every single time. Here's the part that's important to be honest about. Avoiding the call works. In the short term, it works perfectly. You cancel or you keep the camera off and the tension drops immediately. That relief feels like the right decision. But every time you avoid something that made you anxious, your brain quietly files it as a confirmed threat. Next time the notification arrives, the anxiety comes back faster, stronger, more convincing. This is how a mild discomfort slowly becomes something that genuinely disrupts your work and your relationships. Not because you're weak, because avoidance is how fears grow, quietly, consistently, without you noticing, until the thing you used to just dislike now feels genuinely impossible. The path out isn't forcing yourself through the hardest version all at once. That rarely works and usually backfires. It's smaller than that. Camera on for 5 minutes in a low-stakes call with someone you trust. Then 10, then a full meeting. Not to punish yourself, but because the only way your brain learns something is actually safe is by surviving it, in small, manageable doses, enough times that the evidence starts to outweigh the fear. For some people, it connects to something older. This part isn't for everyone, but for some people, the avoidance runs deeper than format discomfort. People who grew up being criticized for how they looked, how they expressed themselves, how they came across. Those experiences get stored somewhere, and certain situations pull them back up without warning. A video call puts your face on display in a way that can quietly reactivate that old feeling of being examined, of being found lacking in some way you can't fully defend against. It usually isn't dramatic. It's more like a background dread that shows up before the call and doesn't fully lift until it's over. And you might not even connect it to anything specific. It just feels like too much. Naming this, even just to yourself, changes something. Not because naming it fixes it, but because I'm carrying something real is a very different story than I'm broken for feeling this way. Some people are just wired differently. Now let's be fair. Not everyone avoiding video calls is dealing with anxiety or old wounds. Some people genuinely think better without visual input layered on top of everything else. Some brains find voice-only communication cleaner, more focused, more natural. That's not avoidance, that's self-knowledge, and there's a real difference between the two. The world has quietly decided that camera on means engaged, professional, present. But that standard doesn't actually fit everyone, and it's worth questioning whether it should. The honest question to ask yourself is simply this: am I choosing what actually works for me, or am I arranging things to avoid feeling something uncomfortable? Both are valid questions. Both deserve a real answer. Here's what it all comes down to. People who avoid video calls aren't antisocial or difficult or making excuses. They're dealing with something real. The psychological weight of being visually monitored, the exhaustion of a format that demands more than it appears to, or something older that the camera quietly stirs up. Understanding that doesn't give you a permanent pass to avoid every call forever, but it does mean you can stop treating the avoidance as a character flaw and start treating it as information. Information about how you're wired, what you're carrying, and what might actually help. The goal was never to become someone who loves video calls. The goal is to stop letting the fear of them quietly shrink your life. One small step. Camera on. 5 minutes. That's all it takes to start. You are more capable than your discomfort tells you, and you already know that. If this helped you see yourself a little more clearly, like it, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe.